we're going to show you how to do applique with your embroidery machine, which is a lot of fun, one of my favorite things to do. So I'm just going to do a real quick little heart. This is one of the patterns. This is not the right hoop though. Let me change my hoop real quick.
Joan, what are you sewing on here?
This is the Elma Expressive 920. I need to change my hoop real quick to this one. There we go. So when you're using your machine like this, you do want to have the right hoop selected. And now when we go back to the design, see how it has this is the hoop that I have on the machine right now. And so if you have the wrong hoop, you're not gonna, I've seen people hit their hoops with their machine, and then that's a visit to the repair shop, and
not good.
You don't want to do that right now because there's a wait for sewing machine repairs. So the first thing that this is going to do is sew a placement line, and then it's going to sew, we're going to put the fabric on here, and it's going to sew a cutting line, and then we're going to trim that away using these scissors. These are from Alex Anderson. They come right, left, and left-handed, and they're kind of bent, curved a little bit, so that you can
trim down in the hoop.
Yep. So you use these differently. So normally we use scissors like that. These you actually hold like this, and they cut flat. So let's go ahead and just get started.
Quiet, isn't it?
It is quiet. And it's going to trim that automatically. And so I'm just going to brush my finger under there to pick up the tail. We're going to put this fabric, now normally I would use a smaller piece of fabric, but we were running around last minute trying to get this ready. And just smooth it out. You can take a little bit of glue. I like to use a glue stick and put that right on there. I would still be trying to sew this if I was doing it by just using a blanket stitch. And so this time I'm actually going to take the hoop right out of the machine. And then with these scissors, I'm going to come in and cut all the way across. And then I'm just going to trim kind of close. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because the zigzag stitch that it's going to do is going to cover this up. So there. And if you look up here, you'll see that because I'm making a quilt block, I'm actually sewing with Aerofill thread. This is just regular 50 weight cotton thread. So I like it. I think it adds a little bit of dimension. And so you can see this isn't trimmed up perfectly, but it will be fine.
Hi Mary, welcome.
Because it's going to be covered up by the zigzag that it's going to do. Well, so the machine just told me I don't have enough bobbin thread, so I'm going to swap out for this one. Isn't that nice? I like the sewing machine and embroidery combo because when you're not embroidering, you can just leave this embroidery arm on the machine. Not quite lined up. There we go. Okay, let's try it now.
What do you like about applique in the hoop? For people that haven't done it before, or
Well, when this gets started, we can walk over and look at one of the quilts that I'm actually working on right now. What I like about it is that it's perfect. The applique just turns out really beautiful. You can add dimension by adding either a cotton thread or a polyester thread. You can add complementary colors, and it doesn't matter if you're having a good sewing day or not, because we all have those. Your design is going to turn out perfect. All the work has been done, and then you have this perfect block to piece together, and it's a lot of fun. It's my, love it. Can't get enough of it. Wish I had more time to do it. So, and now it's starting to do the zigzag for that. I'll move out of the way so you can get in there. So while that's doing that, I'll go show you a project that I have been working on for a while. So the majority of these designs are from Smith Street Designs, who's the designer of the Hearts of Fire quilt. And except for one, I kind of like to make things my own. So there's one block in here that I digitized and made. But you can see, if we get up close, like how perfect all of this is. And if you try to do this, so you can do the outline by your machine if you're pretty good, but then adding all of this extra dimension, like inside of there, that would be really hard to do. You'd have to do it by hand. And I know there are hand embroiderers out there. I'm not one of them. So this is how I like to do it. It's fun. It turns out beautiful. And it doesn't take a long time to do a quilt like this. You have a beautiful result. Looks like you put a ton of work into it, and you can say you did. So that's what I like about it. So let's go back and check on our project, because we should be finishing up here really quick. And we're done. It took maybe, 5 minutes to do? Yep. The machine's telling me that it takes 5 minutes.
It's not bad. Pretty quick.
It is pretty quick. And it does a really nice job. I guess I could have done a little bit. There we go. Can you see up close?
Mm-hmm. Pretty.
I like to think I'm a good sewer, but I could not do this with my sewing machine just sewing.
I know.
Marilyn's in agreement. But you have this machine.
Yeah,
So you
I
could
do it just sewing though.
just sewing.
What's the plan for quilting the quilt after the embroidery blocks are done? Is there a recommended approach that you would give?
I actually quilt right over this stuff. You could take it and have it custom quilted, and they could quilt all around it. I've done some applique quilts and embroidered quilts. I'm at the point now where I want to move on to the next project. By the time I finish a top, I'm done with it. So I just put it on the machine and back and quilt a pattern right over it. So these are not quilted in the hoop like some of the, like Anita Good Design has some projects that quilt as you go. This is a true quilt top. when you're finished.
Do you start with an oversized block?
I do. A couple of ways you can do this. If you use your backing as a sticky backing and you can line it up in the center, or you don't even have to do that, you can just use the sticky stabilizer, mark your center on your block, and then you can line your needle up with the center. The sticky stabilizer costs a little more. I think it's worth it, but it's up to you. You can do it either way. This is just a regular old tearaway, just a lightweight stabilizer. Peels right out really easy. Any tearaway will work. You don't need a lot of stabilizer. The zigzag does need the stabilizer to stay in it, and it will, but that keeps it all nice and tidy.